What's up, YouTube? It's the next day. As you can see in my outfit, I'm gonna be working on Dad's 54 still. I'm gonna be wiring that brake signal for the torque converter lockout. I have to do first is remove the PCM, which is really easy. It's only 7mm bolts that bolt onto it, aren't tight. And I'll be removing this wire, which is my tack lead. I don't need it because we're not running a tack. This wire, which is as you can see, I labeled speed or speedo. We don't need it because the speedo gauge is GPS driven. And I'll be leaving this one, which is my check engine light one. I'll just be plugging it into one of my extras here. And I'll be running another wire like this. This one's just temporarily put in there. It's not actually pinned for the brake signal for the PCM to take the transmission out of lockout. So the first step is I have to get a 7mm and remove this plug. To remove, I have some plugs on the back to show you guys. To remove basically the pin connector cover, or this cover that prevents the pins from popping out. After I remove that, I can just slide in the wire from the back. This one still has its back cover, but you just slide it in from the back and the pin will sit in where it's supposed to. Then you just put the retainer clip back on and it won't let that pin come out. So first step I have to do is remove this plug, and I'll just be removing, I believe, the top one, because I believe all these leads are on the top one. And I have to put it on pin 33 on blue, I believe. Let me just check real quick and I'll get back to you guys. Yeah, it is on pin on this first plug. Sorry for the noise. I want to use a power tool. There we go. You can, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me bring you guys in closer and zoom it in a bit. Hopefully you guys can tell in the video, but the pins are numbered. Well, each pin has a number. I'll be needing to put this extra wire, which is for the traction, the torque converter lock, on pin 33, which is, if I put you guys into frame, which is this one right here. So, like I said, I have to remove basically this cover. It has two pins on each side that holds it in right here. Let me zoom you guys out a little bit. You can see I'm gonna pin it out, and usually this side is a little bit more difficult side, just because it's in where the bolt's at, and I'm too lazy to go get a screwdriver right now, so I'm struggling even more. But I'll probably have to end up going to get a screwdriver, but we'll see. Oh, I was able to pull it out with the bit. As you can see, the cover's out. All I have to do now is pin it on 33, push it in, slide it up until it locks. Once it locks, you hear a click. You just tug on it a bit to make sure it locks, and it's good to go. Time to put the cover back on. And before I put the cover actually back on, I'm gonna make sure, figure out where these go so I can unpin them. And these all go to the bottom plug on the green plug. And I call it green plug because anybody that's worked on LS's, let me zoom you guys back out, that's worked on LS's knows that on the 04 that has electronic throttle body, the PCM uses a blue plug and a green plug. So I put the cover back on this one because we don't need to depin anything else. This wire I need because this is for the OBD reader. It's just connected to an OBD plug temporarily. So let me unscrew the bottom one so we can pull those pins out. And matter of fact, it'll make it a little bit more easier to clean back there, to finalize back there, and to also run the wire, this wire, well, not that wire, the brake signal wire for the computer, over routing it this way. So we're gonna do, well, I'm gonna do the same thing, to remove this cover. Removed. And all I'm gonna do is just trace which one are they so I don't pull the wrong one. Which is this one. And it is number 50, and if you wiggle it around you can usually see it from this side which one it is. You just pull that little retainer pin out back and pull the wire out. There's one of them. And here's the other one. I have reflashed this PCM because I had to take off the VAT system, but I have to reflash it again because this PCM will give you a check engine code if it doesn't detect a gauge reading the tach or speed sensor. So I'll be having to go into the tune and deactivating that code so I don't get a check engine light. Put this back in, and basically I'm just gonna route these wires back and over through all of this and tape them up nicely and get the PCM back in. I'll do that, and since it might take a while, I'll do that first, and then I'll show you guys once I'm finished, so I don't have a long video like usual. Well, you guys, wiring is complete, at least for the PCM side. I put my OBD plug right here. I might change it, I don't know. The seat doesn't go all the way back, so I think it would be a nice place. You open the door and you can just plug it in right away. But I did make it removable just in case. I have spade connectors just in case I need to remove it or relocate it. This is an extra wire that goes all the way to the front of the dash. If I need an accessory or something else from the PCM or anything, I have that accessory. Later on in the future, I'm going to make a cover that covers all of this, that will enter through these holes, through all the 4 posts, enter and then come down, and it'll have threaded rib nuts. And then you can just bolt it down and it'll be a flat surface to put like a subwoofer or sound system.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of ABS plastic, metal, or wood, or MDF. It might be MDF just to build the box on top of it and be able to bolt the amps to it, but I am not 100% sure. But as you can see, everything's here. Fuses, relays, the relays for the PCM, which is the AC, the fuel, and the fan. This is the PCM, and then the computer for the electronic throttle body and pedal. But that's all nicely ran. As you can also see, I finally cleaned all the mess from the truck. There's no more wires, boxes, empty boxes and all that inside. It looks cleaner. So right now I'm just gonna sit down the seat. The seat, they had added this floor. I am not 100% sure why, because underneath it doesn't look rusted. But maybe they added it to reinforce it, but I'm not, like I said, 100% sure. So the original brackets won't bolt up to this anymore, and the original brackets for the seat are messed up. So we have to make new brackets for the bench seat, and or buy a new bench seat or individual seats depending on how Dad wants it to be. But for the meantime, I'll put the original seat, at least that came with the truck. As you can see up front, I cleaned the wiring also. No more bunch of dangling wires. All of these wires that I have right here on the doorknob, or in the window knob, crank, I mean, were going to be used. Like, let's say this is for parking. This is the parking light. This is cigarette lighter, dimmer switch, all that. The powers for the radio, for the AC if we add AC, heater. This dangling wire, of course, is for the lights of the dash, to light up the gauges for the backlights at night. But yeah, everything else is pretty much clean. And all the extra power wires that comes with this kit. Let's see if I can point you guys up. You guys can hopefully see it. I cut them a little bit shorter and wrapped them up and just zip tied them up. So if I ever need a power with a fuse, they're there. But for the meantime, I don't really need it. Let me bring the bench seat over and install it. There we go. The seat is somewhat in place. Like I said, the seat's not bolted down. It doesn't have brackets, as you can see. But she's sitting there. It has to get reupholstered. The whole truck is getting upholstered. But for the meantime, we're just trying to take away using a bucket as a seat. But she's in there. She's in a somewhat comfortable angle. I had to put a 4x6 underneath the seat to give it a slight angle so it can feel good. But like I said, we have to make the bracket, so we have to rise it and tilt it to what we want it, and or buying a new bench seat, or unless Dad's gonna go individual, then individual and build a center console for it. But she's coming along nicely. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be making this into a 2-part or 1-part video, but thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and have a great day.